Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. Now, I have, this is part 2 of a recent haul video I did. Because the regular items, took a little longer than I expected, I decided to leave the books, to dedicate another video to the books. I have a cross-section of things bought from a variety of sources, and I think that I'm happy with my purchases, so that's always a good thing. Now, this first one I'm showing you is about Marilyn Monroe. Now, because she died so young, I can't say that, she was never, I don't know, a hero, a starlet, a big influence in my life, but certainly a lot has been made of her life. Obviously she was a beautiful woman. And I saw, oh, there's a price tag. I saw this book. This would be, I guess, Salvation Army. So $4 for this book. Now, if I have a book like this, not a Marilyn Monroe book, but if I have a book in a similar format, I don't remember. But this is called Brick Books, and it's no wonder. This is a substantial little book here. The part that I liked, of course, is the fact that it's landscape. I must be slipping. I forgot to pull out a ruler. It's landscape. So it's 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. And the spine is a healthy 2 inches. So even if a person didn't have any sort of, if you weren't thinking about Marilyn Monroe as an icon, there are so many. Every single page, not every single page, every second page has a picture of her. And if this doesn't epitomize, 1950s glamour girl kind of stuff, then I don't know what does. Now, let me just see. Oh, it's always photo backed against photo, text against text, which is, I guess, unfortunate. But again, there is so much here. There are 540 pages. So, more than enough for a couple of lifetimes. And of course, some of them are better than others. You need a bathing beauty. Well, there she is. Some of these scenes from movies are not obviously as useful, probably. But I am probably going to flip through this, size up what I really have here, and then just decide if I'm going to cut into it or if I'm going to bring it to a live sale. Joni and I do a live sale on YouTube. Okay, tell you the plan. God willing and the creek don't rise, Hazel is going to learn how to use StreamYard. And then the videos, our live sale videos, will be hosted on my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. So watch for that. I think I'm going to give that a whirl tomorrow because, none of this stuff ever goes that well. Anyway, live sales first Thursday of the month. So the next one is April 3rd. Anyway, yeah, there's just so much here that I'm going to decide what to do with this. Now, I wonder if it says anywhere other brick book titles. Okay, this is 2008. Somehow, no. Anyway, maybe if I Googled, oh, look, regular price or retail was $20. I would be curious, and maybe when I have a moment, an extra moment, I'm going to Google brick books and see what other people they might have focused on, because I can't imagine that this is a one of. Those look like sewn-in signatures, but that would be kind of hard to believe. Oh, maybe. Let's find the middle here. Yes, sirree. That's awesome. Anyway, okay. Marilyn gets us rolling here. Now, this probably doesn't fit on the screen. How to Draw Horses, and this is, of course, a Walter Foster book. So we know that these are big boys. They're about 13.5 by 10, and I'm over 10 inches. So this is How to Draw Horses. So, oh, and I love these. These are like little, well, they're like little inchies. So a lot of black and white, you know, technique. Here's anatomy. And of course, horses are, you know, many would say hard to do. And of course, all sorts of poses and activities. You know, is it a workhorse? Is it a polo horse? Is it a jumping horse? And then, of course, whoops, that's my ruler trying to fall on the floor. That would make a good cover because it's the right format. Let's see what else we might have for color. There's another one. So obviously more black and white here then. So it's basically those two plus whatever a person might fussy cut off the front or back covers. Now, I'm going to hang on to this one for a while. And I know at least 2 people who are, you know, are into horses. So it could very well end up being given to somebody as well. This one, like we know that there are no shortage of cookbooks in thrift stores. Like typically, second to fiction, I would say in the stores that I go to, it is the second biggest category after, you know, just general fiction. This one is called Afternoon Tea at Home. And again, we know that these days, what is the year on this? Anyway, look at the macarons. These days, cookbook photography, 2021. Well, that's pretty darn, that's young in the world of books. Is, you know, spectacular. It's not an accident that food photography is called food porn, because it is so, I mean, so sensual, so addictive, so beautiful. So obviously a lot of opportunities for fussy cutting and just decorating one's cookbook projects with some beautiful imagery. So, I mean, I don't need to show you every single page. I haven't looked at every single page, but you kind of, you know, I find that I gravitate to cookbooks for either because they're old and attractive for that reason, or because they're new, they've got great photography, and the price is right. Surely, to goodness, not to actually try any recipes, because that's not my shtick. Tart, anyone? And so easy to cut out. And because I've got master boards on the brain, you've got focal points, all the focal points you need for a master board. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, where am I going to put these things? Make a pile over here. Okay, we've all seen these. These are the Time Life books, Encyclopedia of Gardening. Now, I don't know. I obviously have this one. I don't know if I have only one or if I have two. but we know that these books are lovely. Now, the pages are glossy, but it's so easy to cut out those boxes because, the lines are there. And, a variety of sizes. There's a big one that could be a journal card. Smaller ones that maybe would lend them if that was torn around. That could be a masterboard component, focal point, or a layer on a masterboard. They also typically have, at the start of the section, they have a full page drawing that is obviously to die for. So, of course, if it's to die for, that means hoardable. And then, of course, there's some photography. I'm surprised there isn't a section. Maybe there is a section on diseases. Not our favorite section, obviously. But, again, if you can get these at a good price, then you will not be disappointed. And you'll have materials to work with forever and a day. Now, if you saw this cover, would you not buy this book just for those carrots? Now, this one is probably worth reading because it's making the connection between food and cancer. Now, I don't think a person needs to have a cancer diagnosis in order to obviously improve one's eating choices. So, from what I saw when I flipped through it in this, this is 2019. From what I saw in, yes, I didn't look at the index, but I saw it as I was flipping. Foods that help and foods that hurt. So let's turn to that big culprit, sugar. Sugar, salt, and spices. When it comes to health, flavor is important. Healthy food ought to taste good. Still, flavor should never come at the expense of health. When it comes to sugar, salt, and spice, wisdom and moderation in their use will help ensure that food not only tastes good, but is good for us too. See, I wouldn't have thought that spices are in the bad category. Okay, the evils of sugar we all know. But, okay, spicy foods, that's what they're saying here. From soups to stews to casseroles, you'll be hard-pressed to find a savory recipe that does not include black pepper and other spices. Hot sauce, I hope they're not going to diss black pepper because I love using pepper. Hot sauce, don't use hot sauce or chili peppers. Curry blends are common, blah, blah, blah. These days, it seems a taste for heat is all the rage, and for some individuals, the spicier the better. Now, if you believe in, am I going to be able to think of the word? Ayurveda, then you know that Eastern, Indian, Asian type thinking has believes that we're connected to earth elements, and some of the things covered in the Ayurvedic approach to health is body temperature, for lack of a better word. So, kapha, pitta, what are some of the other ones? I can't remember if there are 4 or 5. So depending on how our particular bodies are set up, we either are balanced or we are got too much of something, too much heat, too much cold, and there are ways through diet to adjust those things. I don't know that I've ever figured out for myself what I am. Anyway, okay. A tendency to reach for spices has been linked to an increased risk of developing certain cancers. Those who consume very spicy foods and have diets high in chili have a greater risk of developing esophageal cancer. Those who consume spicy foods and high amounts of chili are at a greater risk of developing stomach cancer. Those who have a preference for spicy foods have a twofold increase in the risk of laryngeal cancer. Esophageal cancer is more frequent in Indian populations in several parts of the world, and the indiscreet use of spices may explain why risk of developing this cancer is significantly higher. Chili pepper contains a compound called capsaicin. I can't read this whole thing to you, but topical application of capsaicin produced skin cancer. In another study, rats were given capsaicin over the course of their lifetimes. 22% of females, 14% of males developed tumors. Okay. Because of conflicting lab studies, the jury is out about whether capsaicin helps or hurts. But human studies demonstrate a correlation between the consumption of spicy foods such as chili peppers and increased risk of developing various cancers. Perhaps, like red wine, the potential risks of consuming spicy foods outweigh the potential benefits of spice compounds like capsaicin. Blah, blah, blah. Limit your use of those. Use ingredients like onions and garlic and herbs to season food and enhance flavor. Well, that's kind of interesting. There was a time in my life where I was filling empty caplets with chili powder because that supposedly was going to be the cure for whatever ailed me at the moment. I haven't done that for a long time, but I know that I really don't have a tolerance for spicy stuff. Like, I'm a real wimp when it comes to that stuff. But look at the photography. So this is in the good section, the fruits and the berries and so on, tomatoes. Again, supposedly I shouldn't be eating tomatoes, but sometimes, you just gotta have a tomato. Tomato. Allium family, love beets, grains, lentils. Oh, and then their recipes. Okay, probably spent way too much time on that for your liking or mine. Now, this book, obviously, how did they even do this anyway? I don't know how they got their sticker on there. And anyway, it doesn't matter. 20 projects to make for the retro home. So I know you would have picked up this book. So it's Home Sewn Home. And it's a lovely one. I looked through it last night when I got home from the city. So it's got this flap, nice end papers. You want to sew your little teddy bear an eye mask? Well, you certainly can. So, you can just tell. Maybe I'll flip from the back. Oh, and there in this pouch, there are some patterns. So, of course, there's a use for that as well. Now, this would be a good book to repurpose. The signatures are sewn in. Wonder of wonders. Preserve the pocket, preserve the pocket, preserve the end papers, cover that gal up, figure out how to get rid of this. Now it's almost like this has been laminated or something on there. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I shouldn't do the operation in front of you. Okay, so you can see cute stuff to fussy cut. Some actual instructions, and I read the intro, and it was sort of talking about how, back in the day, girls took home ec and boys took shop or industrial arts, and, even if you didn't like it in the moment, at least you learned the basics, and so on. But of course, then beliefs about education had changed and it was dropped from the curriculum, but there seems to be a rekindling of interest in that. So again, these are just great. And, you know, on most pages you could get away with, you wouldn't even lose much of it by, if you fussy cut. So there are a number of projects along with the plans on how to do them, like bath cap. I don't think so, but still, the pictures are great. Wash bags, so I guess they're really calling, you know, what we would call a makeup bag, sort of. Just really nice, and even all these borders. That alone would give a lot of cool stuff to work with. I thought that was beautiful. It says night dress or pajama case. Now, I guess the part that I don't care for here, although it's not difficult, essentially because this linen has all those cutouts, you're basically needing to do a lining. Look at this, these chapter things. Look at that apron. Frankly, I don't know anyone who'd hold a wooden spoon like that, but maybe they hope that we look at the apron and not her, not her hand. Anyway, the stuff I notice. The stuff Teresa notices. Hi, Teresa. Gingham. So just one beautiful thing after another. You have a place to put your rollers, or that's what we call them, I don't know, curlers, rollers, old suitcase, who doesn't love an old suitcase, a padded hanger. Anyway, I thought that was a great book. Okay, keep going. Now, this book I have seen more than once. You know, this is what you see when you're looking at at a bookcase. You see the spine, and I think to myself, oh, that must be a good one. I pick it up and I think, oh, I've seen this before. It's a heavy, heavy book. It's a big book. 11 by 8 3/4, 1 3/4 inch spine. Now, I didn't look to see it's just a blue cover. Very blue cover. So, this is rather shiny. So, this was 110 years, I guess, the history of Edmonton Public Schools. So, I thought, well, I have my, a long-range plan to do kind of an education or a school-type journal. So, wouldn't some of these images be great? Teacher photos, classroom photos, 1992. So it's over 500 pages. Oh, the board, school board in 82. So that's, that's the equivalent like of a yearbook, yearbook photos. So indexes, these sorts of, lists and appendices kind of pages, all kinds of, photography. Okay, I guess there's probably reproductions from some old readers, from old forms, and these are the sorts of photos that you'd quite often find in a yearbook. No, okay, so that would have been a newsletter. So again, reproduction, that's a letter from the education minister to I guess the chair of the board, raising the flag for something or other. So, I mean, page after page after page of images. And of course, you know, because of the way history and the world advances, you know, some of the schools because most cities have a protocol for how streets, parks, buildings are going to be named, you know, there need to be certain criteria and so on. And quite often, somebody who gets honored because they were, you know, at the time were perceived to be somebody influential, important, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, you know, 50, 60 years, and all of a sudden they're on the council list because they were perhaps doing what was totally acceptable back in the day, but with evolution and refinement and, you know, maybe getting the foot off oppressed people's necks then becomes unacceptable. And I know it's easy for the pendulum to swing too far in the other direction, and somewhere there has to be, actually, I bet you that if I looked, I could find the school that I went to, if they have a picture of every single school, because I went to a city school for grades 1 and 2. That's where I got my auspicious beginning. It's funny, I remember, was it grade 1? Getting a Bible from the teacher. And this wasn't a separate school division. This wasn't like a, you know, a religious school division. It was a public school. And, you know, got this little Bible. I have it somewhere. You know, handwritten message from the teacher. You know, it's funny how you can get to be old and still remember some of those kind, or unfortunately in some kids' cases, unkind remarks that they heard from teachers. And I wish that teachers, well, and all of us for that matter, would get it through our heads that what we say matters. If we say something wonderful, obviously that's a good thing, because people will carry that message of affirmation or praise or encouragement or whatever, will carry it to their dying day. However, if the remark was unkind or critical or ignorant, that too will be carried until one's dying day. So those of us that were lucky, Alstroemeria, my favorite flower, those people, those kids that were, or even adults, because hey, we all need strokes, those people who were lucky enough to get positive, encouraging, kind, and loving messages have flourished. And not everybody is that lucky. So maybe we can try to remember that, both on YouTube and, and in person, on all kinds of social media. Is this not a great book? And I don't even think anyone has colored anything in here. I had to pay. I paid $4.50 for this baby. But do we know what the regular price was? I mean, coloring book prices are crazy. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. But you know, oh, I can almost see it. Is that $10.99? So, yeah. And of course, yeah, $9.99. US. Higher in Canada. Yeah, we know. Anyway, long story short, this is a beautiful book. And honestly, sometimes, why don't I just color? Don't have to, you know, tea-dye. Don't have to use it as a signature page. And of course, with something like this, it's not even directional. So you turn it on its side, fold it, and voila, you got something beautiful to add to your book. Obviously, I wouldn't do that with this one because the coffee would spill all over the place. But for a lot of these botanical themed ones, okay, that wouldn't work. It doesn't, it's not going to matter. Uh-oh. Third video of the day, and I've got my light show going on. I just have 3 more to show you. Let's do this one next. And now I'm not even sure. I just gravitate to like nursery rhymes or compilations or treasuries. So Treasury of Well-Loved Tales. So you can see Snow White, Peter Pan, Aesop's Fables, Lion and Carpenter. Don't even know some of those. Like this is, I don't know about you, but that's hard on my eyes. A little separation starting there. But considering how big this book is, do we have a date? Okay, somebody got this Christmas 86. So this is pretty well 12 inches by 9 1/4, 9 1/2. Nice matte paper. You know, relatively thick paper. Like it's not paper thin. It's, you know, and a lot of possibilities for fuzzy cutting. Look at that cute little thing. Although she's sad, very sad. So is there not a date anywhere on this book? Anyway, I'm not going to flip through every page, but obviously, you know, you got your princesses, you got your beasts, you've got rodents of all sorts, rodents who wear clothes. You've got animals, you've got, okay, Noah's Ark, so there's a little religion in here as well. Okay, what else? And again, opportunities to fussy cut. The papers are beautiful. Oh, what's this? Zach. Oh, this came out of, Power Rangers. Out of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Tricks and Lucky Charm cereals. So this is holographic. Okie dokie. And again, you know, I have gotten more reluctant to cut into some of these books because, of course, there's so many pages in them. And if I have 16, 17, so there, even though that's broken there's no pages missing. I have, you know, I've started taking enough of these books apart that I need to have the discipline to not do that anymore until I, you know, kind of use up what I have. Because really a person could be, you know, much like those Ideals magazines, a person could be removing, you know, pages, signatures, images to the point where you don't even know where they are. You can't sell the book because it's no longer intact. And chances are you're never going to use all the, and when I say you, I mean me. Chances are I'm never going to use all those things I've already salvaged. So why would I do that to any more books? Okay, so you can see that this is a slipcase for The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. I don't know if that's how you say it. This is like, well, this is fabric, and it's like sort of satin. And of course with this you know, embossed, debossed. So I started reading this in the store because of course I have some of his stuff, but don't really know his story. This is 2016. Now, this guy, okay, The Prophet, which is this book, was first published in 1923, and it received several unfavorable reviews and was generally less well received than his two earlier books, The Madman and The Forerunner. I've never heard of those. But in spite of this initial setback, The Prophet has since become one of the best-selling books of all time, largely through word-of-mouth recommendations. Translated into over 40 languages, and some authorities claim it's been translated unofficially into over 100. And with the arrival of the internet, the text is made available worldwide on hundreds of websites. Now, so it just sort of lays out the story, and of course I couldn't stand there and read the whole book, so I just decided to buy it. Again, because of its beauty and because it, supposedly has some very sound, advice for living. So it looks as though, is there a table of contents? Okay, so he's got something to say on virtually everything. Love, marriage, children, giving, eating and drinking, work, joy and sorrow, and on and on and on to death. But I think the appeal here, look at this. The appeal here is this conglomeration, this overabundance, this mixing and matching of patterns and artwork. So for some of us, and I'm going to count myself among those, we are maybe a bit slow to doing all this intermingling of pattern. But you can see that this is lovely to the eye. And I think through collaging and making master boards, I have moved out of my comfort zone. I still, believe in making things that are pleasing to my eye, but I'm less afraid of mixing and matching pattern types. So, back in the day when we cared more about what people thought about how we dressed, well, you're never supposed to mix stripes and polka dots, or you're not supposed to mix more than one type of pattern. So you do a pattern and a solid, solid pants or skirt, printed top. And in fact, I remember an old social worker once telling me that you can almost judge a person's mental health or not, whether they're healthy or not, by how they dress. Because, well, her belief was that, if you had mucho stuff going on, that was a sign of some sort. So I don't know if that's still, I don't know if that ever meant anything. And it probably is meaning less and less as people are choosing to be more individual and unique in the way they present themselves to the world. I'm going to end on this one. Best in children's books. So again, you see that spine on a bookcase and you reach for it. Just an ordinary paper dust jacket in nice shape. The cover itself is, maybe there's a little crinkle there, but clean, and look at this. So, 1958. There are photos in here, maps, the pages are matte and, lovely. Monochromatic drawings. Here are more photos. So I am sure that there are lots of things in here that can be repurposed, you know, whether in as focal points that have been fussy cut, as background pages for collaging and that sort of thing. So there you have it. There you have it. It's probably time to reread Gulliver's Travels. I just like the idea of those little tiny people. Gulliver and Lilliput. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop there. I will do just a commercial for an upcoming book haul video. I can't remember. Oh, goodness, stop that. I will tell you that, I can't remember if it was January or February. Anyway, you know, a while back, I bought a few $100s worth of antique books. It was through an auction, and I honestly haven't really had a chance to look at them myself yet. I know I did go to the, you know, to the viewing, the in-person viewing before the online auction. And I kind of had a wish list of the ones I hoped I could acquire. But I want to, number one, take a better look at them myself, decide which ones I'm keeping, decide which ones I might be parting with, and also for those people who haven't been lucky enough or you know, in the right place at the right time to be able to buy an affordable, let me just reach for one, an affordable book, you know, maybe you can get a vicarious thrill by looking at one of my purchases. Whoopsie. Maybe pick one that has its cover intact. I'll just show you, give you a glimpse of a couple. So this one has separated from its cover, and that, as you know, is not an issue. Foxing. This is probably, let me just raise this up a bit. Sorry for jerking you around. So plates like this, lovely paper. Let me just see if I can quickly find a date on this one. So these are etchings. Is it big as life and I just can't see it, or what? So I want you to have vicarious thrill of sharing in. Oh my goodness, guys. Oops. Sorry, I need to take this camera or this phone out of here because my hope and a prayer of holding this together has given way here. So I have this gooseneck phone holder, but of course, because this arm articulates, you know, there's a fair bit of give and take and movement up and down from side to side, you know, up the other way. So it works itself loose. And of course, my husband is not here at the moment for us to, maybe for him to find a tool and really tighten it up. Anyway, I'll just show you this other cover and we'll quit while we're ahead. So I've got mega books like this and even more spectacular to show you. So I was just going to suggest that if you want to be sure not to miss that video and any others that I do, the surest way is to hit the notification bell. Those of you who have been with me for a long time know that I also have a playlist that I did month after month. I did for several weeks, for several months. I think I did once a week for several months, is what I'm trying to say, called What's in My Bookcase. So if you're a book lover, you might want to just go back and have a look at those. Anyway, this is upcoming. Don't know when I'm going to get to it, but just saying, maybe keep an eye out if you love antique books. Okay, guys, thanks. I've got some technical issues I need to deal with now. Okay, bye-bye.